What's up, guys? Ninth Jim here. Been a while. I know I haven't made an actual video on this channel in a while. I kind of fell out of VGC there for a minute, doing some other stuff. But now Scarlet and Violet is here in 2 days as of recording, and I'm really excited for it. I'm really hyped to get back into VGC. I love team building. It's my favorite aspect of competitive play, and I think team building is going to be absolutely wild this format with Terastillization. The video today is going to be primarily talking about Terastallization, talking about the pros and cons of it and the impact it'll have on team building and playing as a whole in VGC this format. I think it's really, really interesting, and it adds a huge new dimension to team building and, actual competitive play due to, being able to use it offensively or defensively, or honestly both. I'm just really curious on how Terastallization is actually going to change the format and how the format is going to be with Terastallization. I think it's really interesting. I loved Dynamax at first, and then it kind of fell out, and I became a Dynamax hater. But I'm really curious on how crazy this format is going to be. I think Dynamax took pretty offensive start, and I think that this is going to be even more. Like, I think Terastallization, the early VGC of Terastallization is going to be very offensive. It's going to be hyper offensive always, due to the 2x stab that you can gain from Terastallizing into the same type you already have. And also, apparently, what I've heard is that if you Terastallize to a different typing, you still retain the ability to use your original stab boost. So, as an example, you have Tyranitar, right? Everybody uses this example, Terastallizing to Ghost to mitigate that 4x weakness to fighting, right? Obviously, that's one of the main examples that VGC players are using, and I think it's really interesting that instead of getting rid of those original typings to make it kind of like you probably wouldn't want to defensively Terastallize that frequently. Now, with keeping those same boosts, so you're still doing, your 1.5 times rock slides, you're still doing your 1.5 times crunches, all that kind of stuff, but you have the ability to mitigate that 4x weakness to fighting. And I think that example can be, there's a million examples, I'm sure, but I think using your Terastallization offensively and defensively in the same is going to be really key to using Terastallization effectively this format. So I think team building is going to get a huge upgrade, a whole new level, right? Before you had, with Dynamax, you had maybe a few Pokemon that were Dynamax, right? So you have, let's say like a Kartana Kyogre team, right? Both those Pokemon are going to be Dynamaxing pretty frequently, right? You have Kartana that's able to get really, really powerful defense boosts with the Steel and all that kind of stuff. And then you also have Kyogre that can reset the rain, just be a really big Dynamax Pokemon, right? So you have a lot of different options of that. When before, things like Mega and Z moves, you only have one, right, that you're going to use. I guess technically you can have a couple, but it uses your items, so like your item slot. So you probably didn't want to have multiple Z moves on the same team because it'd be kind of weird. Now we have that with Terra Blast. Like, I don't think many people are going to want to have Terra Blast on a lot of different Pokemon because it's like bad without Terastallizing. So, but like an item is more like necessary than, losing one move slot, I think, most of the time. But I still don't think you're going to want to put Terra Blast on a lot of Pokemon. I don't even really understand Terra Blast. I think it's kind of weird. I don't think it's even like something that you have to focus on when team building. Really what I'm saying is I think team building is going to be completely different this format. So expect a lot of team building battles. That's my favorite kind of video, and I'm going to be doing that a lot because team building is my favorite aspect of VGC. So that's what I'm going to be really focusing on, is figuring that out. And I think there's going to be a lot of really weird, damage calcs you're going to want to do. There's a lot of move spreads that are going to be weird. You're going to have to kind of, expect a lot from everything, right? You're going to be playing on Showdown, right? And there's going to be so many wild things, right? You're going to have so many weird Pokemon Terastallizing into weird typings, and it's going to be really weird. There's going to be a lot less to expect, and there's going to be a lot more options in your gameplay and in your team building, and I think it's going to get really messy. Honestly, I think it's going to be a really messy format, really interesting and really fun, and exploring all these optimal Terastallization things. I haven't really thought about it too much, so I don't really have too many more examples of terastallizing, but there's a few things that I really want to talk about here. So obviously the impact of team building, of terastallization in team building, I think it's going to add new layers. You're going to have multiple Pokemon. Like every Pokemon can terastallize, right? So you might want to have like every different Pokemon, different terastallization to use defensively or offensively in the correct scenario. So you're going to have to, like, your team can do so much, is what I'm saying. Is that all 6 of your Pokemon can be a different typing, and all of your Pokemon can already be dual typings. Like, so many Pokemon can be dual typing, and so many Pokemon can be 3 types now. So you can hit so many different things offensively, which is crazy. And I think Pokemon with a really deep move pool of a lot of different, coverage moves, things like a Kyogre, for example, right? You have Water Spout, you have Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Protect, right? That's 3. Only one of those is already Stab. And then you have Ice Beam and Thunderbolt that you can use Terastallization to hit those Stab, right? You have other things like Gyarados, right? You have Gyarados can have like Earthquake or something, or Ice Fang or something like that, and you can change its Terra type to be those, to have offensive stab moves, but also use it defensively. So I think every single Pokemon can have a Terastallization type that can be used offensively and defensively, and also like just throw your opponent off, right? Because if you have a Gyarados, obviously your opponent's going to want to use like a Thunderbolt on it, right? They're going to want to destroy it with a 4 times effective electric attack. That just makes sense. And if you can change it to ground, then you can have it defensively and also just destroy that electric Pokemon, right? So you have just so many options in team building and in playing the game, and I think it's just going to be really hard to read and really interesting. It's making me really excited. I'm really excited for the VGC format. I think it's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be really aggressive at first. You're going to have things like Torkoal, right? Change to fire typing and then using Eruption. You're going to have things like Lilligant Torkoal, if Lilligant's in the game, or just like Trick Room Torkoal stuff with really ridiculously high power eruptions. And thinking of like this big man in the background, Kyogre, having Water Spout at 2 times stab. It's just disgusting. It sounds insane. It sounds scary. And those things I think are going to be ridiculously powerful. I think spread moves could be wild. Just like thinking about it, you're going to have really, really powerful, if Expanding Force is back. Imagine a Hatterene using Expanding Force terastallized into Psychic. Just like, that'd be really scary in the terrain. Like, it would be really crazy. So that's really all I wanted to talk about today, is just the impact of, just the variance that every team can have. And I think in team building, there's so much more to think about in every single Pokemon. And that's crazy. The last thing I wanted to say in this video, maybe I'm cutting it too short. Maybe I should talk about it longer. But the last thing I want to talk about in this video, sorry I'm not, like, there's nothing in the background either. I just wanted to talk about this for a little while. Maybe I'm rambling too much. Anyway, I'm a little fearful of obtaining every different terastallized Pokemon with every different Terra type. I think we might have one of those situations, kind of like the Ultra raids. I don't remember what they were called, but the raids where you get the legendary Pokemon at the end, and you have to, like, the raid campaign things in the DLC. You guys know what I'm talking about. We did that. We had to farm that for IVs, like 0 IV speed, 0 IV attack, for those kind of Pokemon, and that would take hours. I would watch movies. I'd watch like 2 movies or 3 movies, and then I'd be like, oh cool, I have a Zapdos with 0 IV attack. You know what I mean? Like, it was wild. And I'm fearful that we're gonna have to do that for the correct Terra type. And I'm really hoping there's just like an item, like an ability capsule for Terra types. I think that'd be perfect. That'd be easy. But we'll see. Maybe even like a Max Soup. You remember that? Dynamax or Gigantamax Soup. Maybe do that, and then you get to just pick the color or the typing. So I'm really hoping we have something like that that'll make it really easier for legitimate VGC players to not have to spend hours and hours and hours on having one Pokemon with a certain type, and then you play on Showdown for 6 hours, or you play on you know, you're on the game for a few hours, and then you realize, oh, maybe this other Terra type would be better. So I'm really hoping that's not an issue. I really hope that's not an issue. Anyway, excuse me. Anyway, I think that's it for the video. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I don't really care. Just comment down below what do you think about Terastallization, because I know you've probably already watched like 30 videos on it. If you're committed, you've already probably watched a bunch of other VGC YouTubers say the exact same thing that I just said. But I'm just now it's just setting in that the game comes out in two days, and I get to play this really fun journey and then jump into VGC, and I'm gonna make content, a lot of content about it. We're gonna have guides, we're gonna have team building battles, we're gonna have battle videos, we're gonna have meta analyses of every tournament that I can find, every tournament results that I can find, and we're gonna look into it. And I'm just gonna pick apart the whole format, and I hope you guys are there. Right? I hope you guys are there. We're gonna get to 10K this year. That's what I'm hoping. 10K subs. So if you're not subbed, you should sub. And long outro done. Have a good day, and I'll see you later.